Okay, you know how you gotta stop yourself from laughing? Because when I seen the thumbnail, actually, no, we gotta pull this up. We got a theme here. So even up. R.I.P. PS5, PS6. Just everything is funny, guys. Remember what I was saying in that last video? Sony, how could you never talk about and then look what manifests next? See, I knew it. I felt it, guys. I just know. When you know what I mean? And here it is. Are we ready, y'all? Sony giving up on consoles. Rest in peace, PS5, PS6, question mark. PlayStation isn't dead, though. But they're not playing a Nintendo game and they can't stand it. We ready? Dreamcast guy is about to take the floor.
Hey there, gamers. DreamcastGuy here. Currently, I'm at QuakeCon 2025. I'm actually basically in a big stadium with 4,000 computers around me. A lot of people playing games. But since it's currently quiet, I wanted to secretly film a video. At
All right, hold on.
the end of this, I'll stand up and show you how big and crazy this room is. But I want to talk because yesterday, Sony did this strange investor call. Q&A, a lot of stuff about the future of PlayStation and the future of PlayStation games. And something they really hammered home, and they directly said, is that the future of PlayStation isn't hardware, which in a fancier, flowerier way is basically saying they're moving away from PlayStation consoles. Now, we've been talking a lot about Xbox slowly going third party, about the fact that their pivot, at least mathematically, makes sense in that if they're doing all these acquisitions, buying Bethesda, buying id, buying Call of Duty, Microsoft is spending tens of billions, close to hundreds of billions of dollars, trying to get the Xbox fire to ignite, and it hasn't really worked out. And so it makes sense that their penny pinching accountants basically said, hey, we have to go third party. We have to put Xbox games.
Yeah, I know why I'm laughing. Tell me you got that. Oh, penny pinching. He's doing it. Guys, this music is not helping. I can't. He did it again. The penny pitching, guys, he's literally saying. That's what I say. It's too funny to me, man. I can't with this guy. He had the penny pinching is like you guys know it's scrapping on a dead console. So I just pressed the penny pinch. They just downplay everything. This shit is so funny to me. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's just funny to me. Let's continue though.
Ever. But with PlayStation, the PlayStation console sells. The PlayStation console is way, way, way out in the lead. So I wanted to talk about this mostly because even from just a baseline standpoint, I'm fascinated why it sounds like PlayStation is in a big hurry to get away from the PlayStation brand. Let's talk. Hi, good morning. Hope you're having a great day. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this is the main quote I've seen going around, and I want to give credit here. GameKey is an account we've quoted a lot on this channel. He did this translation himself, so props to him. And he sort of further clarifies how they phrase this and stuff. Sony vice president says they're gradually shifting the gaming business from a hardware-centric business model to a community and engagement-based platform. Now, I always hate this term, engagement-based.
Guys, Oh, I'm gonna tell you what they mean by that. Live service engagement, massive microtransaction, and milking the base. And that's kind of the thing. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to get as many people in the PlayStation world onto their service and engage consistently with PlayStation. The only way to do that is through live service. Because they know the single player is not going to work. And they already have a successful ecosystem with a lot of people, so of course they're going to focus on that. They don't need to focus on something they don't need to worry about. If I have so much food stacked around my house, why am I worried about food? And I'm always full? I don't need to worry about it. I know I have so much. And more is going to continue to come. Now I need to focus on what I have and what I built. That look is so funny, though.
I played a lot of World of Warcraft. Anybody who has ever played a lot of Blizzard games, this is how Blizzard, in their own economic paperwork, describes success. Engagement-based. Basically meaning, it's not how much fun you had, or how cool your games were, or how good the Metacritic was. It was just, hey, how many hours did you stay logged in? That's all that matters to these corporations. So, I don't exactly like that phrasing, but in the gaming business, we are moving away from a hardware-centric business model more to a platform business that expands the community and increases engagement. Now, this to me still just sounds like such an oddball thing to say, in that historically, PlayStation has been, more than pretty much any other company, very much about sell the system at a launch. Get people to love your platform, right? Get all your friends on PlayStation. Now you're socially locked into it. If you want to play multiplayer with your bros, you got to buy the PS4, 3, 4, 5. Oh, if you love this series, we're going to get you hooked on these characters. If you loved Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, well, you got to see how it all ends in Uncharted 4. Oh, an extra chapter with Uncharted Lost Legacy. PlayStation, I feel like, more than anybody else, has really sort of gotten into that idea of selling you the car so you'll pay for the gas. They always try to make PlayStation as cheap as possible, so you buy it, and then they make all their money of every time you buy any game on a PlayStation, you get 30%, right? That money to them has been a money printer. The fact that they're acting like moving away from it is the key to success still sounds the most surreal. He says,
He made it seem like they're the premium and Nintendo's not in that game. That's crazy. And the funny thing too is that he's not understanding that, dude, the game that you're trying to push does not work, and Sony never really sold consoles majorly, and I've said this in so many videos. I don't know why people are not saying it and they see it and they still ignore it. Majorly because of third party. That first party push definitely helped. You know what I mean? Because it was nice to see that you had those flagship titles in the PS3 era, PS4 era. You know what I mean? But the weight that that's holding now is not the same, and that's proven by them having more profit than they ever have, and PlayStation still selling without any price drops, almost equal to PS4 with all those canceled games. Imagine if they had all those live service games going right. Guys, that would have been insane, scary numbers for Sony. You think about it. They did that without all those cancels. Imagine if they had it going right. See, what DreamcastGuy is not getting is Sony eventually wants to get that, what I'm talking about, going right, but on all platforms flourishing too, while still having their time money hats and still having their exclusives. Sony's still going to make more money than ever doing this method. And they're still going to have exactly what he's talking about, but they're just not seeing it. They somehow think this is making Sony weaker, and realistically it's not. And they realize that the future is not just staying on that platform. PlayStation needs to be bigger than that. Even Nintendo's branching out to do other things like theme parks and all that. Because these new guys are now thinking more business oriented rather than console warrior and exclusive only oriented. Like I said, that only is going to work in the Nintendo world permanently. Everywhere else, it's not going to happen.
overall, Sony are making a shift to creation as a company, as the segment of games, music, and pictures makes up 60% of Sony's total revenue. For example, shifting from output devices like TVs to creation devices like digital cameras. It's such an odd... For further context, the question was asked from the media was that Sony are aggressively investing in IP content creation, such as investing in Bandai Namco. Sounds like Microsoft in 2018. Oh god. Oh no.
Oh no, Sony can't do that. See, they'll never. It's not like that with them. It's totally different. So here's the thing, like, and I've said it before, just like that one person said. Sony's doing the route that Microsoft's doing, except they're still doing console exclusives and playing that game and money hiding a lot. It's a hybrid system. Just like when they try to do a model like Game Pass, it's not fully like that. It's a hybrid system. They always do this, I'm telling you. It's still Sony being Sony, but just in a different way that certain people can't accept. Wait to see what happens. I always tell people that these fools, as usual, see, when you're wise, you're more in the back than you are running off in the front instantly. The fool always rushes off ahead. And then it's like, you could have just waited. That's not what fools do. So, yeah, we need to wait and see what games they're going to pick and how this is going to play out. Keep making the content. I'm loving the farm, you know what I mean? Same for everything else, but boy, y'all got y'all's panties in a bunch and it's too funny.
So I don't need a PlayStation 6? Then well, good. Okay, so some leakers have said that this statement is a little bit vague for what it actually means, which is that the talk, the rumblings, the leaks are that PlayStation wants to shorten the window of a game coming out on PlayStation 6, let's say next year, or next generation. They want to shorten the amount of time for PlayStation 6 games being exclusive on PlayStation 6 to them going to PC. It sounds like from the leaks that the goal isn't necessarily we're giving up on PlayStation, it's that, hey, there is so much money on the table. Like, even right here, I'm in a room with 4,000 PC gamers. I've not seen a console. Everybody here is PC gaming, right? So, all the people in this room, how many millions of dollars have been made from just this group of people by putting Spider-Man on Steam, putting everything everywhere, even if it is, in this case, Helldivers 2 going to Xbox. How much money does that end up making them? Okay, next slide here. I do think it's funny that...
You see, that's the thing. If it really would have damaged Sony, they would have stopped selling right now. They've been going to PC. And PlayStation's still selling. It's still going to hit 100 million. They realize it's not a threat. If PC's not going to threaten them, what will, except Nintendo? And even then, like, putting games on there selling is not necessarily going to hurt PlayStation. Microsoft can't hurt Sony. See, it's not possible. So, that's what I always said. We're not threatened by PC gaming. We've done all that, and then PlayStation sales are still fine. When they figured it out, they realized this operation is definitely good. We can make more profit, and we're still moving hardware because it ain't about first party anyways, mainly. You're not seeing it, man. Once you get that, man, I'm telling you, Sony has the perfect road along with Nintendo. They just need to not mess it up.
Everybody's sort of just freaking out about the freak out. I am laughing just about this. Everybody is like, man, it is interesting to me that a lot of people, myself included, do think this is partially just a budget thing. That right now with a lot of...
Well, yeah, they could end up like changing things later on, but right now they're trying to make a whole bunch of money doing that. And it's like I said, it's the smartest thing to do is to have massive live service expansion day one, day and date. It's out of the question. No removing Xbox, no removing Nintendo. And Sony's trying to make as much profit as possible and not sitting there thinking that their single player games are going to get them at a loss too. They're doing the same thing by encircling all this from other platforms, and everything is moving in a more positive direction. You see? That's what's happening. People are flipping out over it too, and it's like, it's not that big of a deal, I promise you.
These companies, they're bleeding money. They're bleeding money. Whereas PlayStation's in an odd spot because they invest so much in each of their individual games, but they still make it back at the end of the year. Like, this is a lot of PlayStation quarterly result stuff, but think about Concord, massive, massive, massive failure. Guys are maybe close to $500 million on that one game. Canceled it in 10 days. Quarterly results, still surprisingly good for how much of a bloodbath it was. PlayStation's in an odd spot where I do think because they have so many people playing PlayStation games on PC, I mean, the fact that Helldivers was breaking worldwide concurrent player numbers still bonkers to me. I think PlayStation is getting to a point where they're no longer just thinking, okay, what will survive us this quarter? Okay, all these are going to be in the green. What's our plan in 10 years?
You don't need to worry about the Dreamcast guy when they're having record profits. It's not so needing to survive. They're fine.
But this, to me, is partially what makes this bizarre. The PlayStation 5 is selling faster than the PlayStation 4, which already was the fastest selling PlayStation console. So it just seems like...
It's like 2 million behind or whatever, but it's doing well. Weird how you missed that.
I guess I still just don't fully get the back end. I do think that if this plan rolls out and they really do start just putting stuff on Steam as fast as possible, and let's say they put stuff on Xbox 2 years after it comes out or something, I do think that if PlayStation sees that sharp dip at all, they're going to cancel this plan. I'm just saying that PlayStation 5 right now is completely holding them up to such a heavy degree. I just think that if PlayStation 5 starts going into the toilet the second they start trying to sort of branch out with release patterns, I think they're going to cancel, because this is still their money printing machine. PS5 hardware sales increased.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it is, Dreamcast guy. And a lot of Sony's also approach is also not just gaming oriented, but in a lot of other aspects. Look at their investments that they're doing in anime and a lot of other things. They're trying to branch out in a lot of different ways. But there's people that will read so deep into what Sony says and they'll go off negatively. It's like, you didn't read that all the way. Keep reading and get more details. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. This is funny. You know, I had to do this. I know you guys enjoyed the little tune. You know, we got to have some funny stuff for Dreamcast guy. So, you know, PlayStation will never be dead. He'll never say that. Obviously, they're not, though. But that just can't be a thing. But, ponies, sit down. Let me know what y'all think. Peace out, y'all.